10th Lord in the first house. When the 10th Lord or 10th house ruler goes into the first house, it is like these two houses merge together. The 10th house represents things such as your career achievements, public recognition like fame that you get for your career. The 10th house represents your father and work environments throughout life, etc. Whereas the first house represents you as an individual. You may notice in a birth chart, every house represents someone or some people. The first house is all about you, your appearance, such as height, body weight, skin, hairstyles, and the way that you dress, etc. The house of father is coming to you. When the 10th Lord or ruler is in the first house, your father, I don't know if this includes stepfather and adopted father. I know for sure it is the biological father. The biological father, for whatever reason, is coming to you or is often around you. Certain planets in a conjunction can actually stop that from happening. Even though this placement is designed to make the father be around you a lot, like physically next to you. For example, if you are a Leo ascendant and your Venus is your 10th house lord, now if something like Ketu is conjunct your Venus in the first house, your father may not be around you at all. Or if he is around you, you just don't want to be around him for whatever reason. When the 10th Lord is in the first house, your personality and body build may come straight from your father, meaning you may have the same bone or height structure as your father, the same hair and skin color, etc. Furthermore, you can act a lot like your father does for reasons I think is due to genetics. It may not even be genetics. When someone is around you a lot, you tend to become like that individual. Let's move on with career. Your work environments throughout life are about the first house things, which can make you do work that is related to the appearance of someone's body or the way that they dress. Let us use the Leo ascendant again, and Venus in the first house. Venus would be in the Leo sign. People with that placement could be a designer or a fashion stylist, even a hairstylist too. When work becomes about the physical body, in this case, it doesn't even have to be your own physical body. It could be you worrying about someone else's physical body. Physical therapists, trainers, and bodybuilders can have something like Mars in the first house Aquarius sign. Just remember the 10th Lord being in the first house can make your work be about the physical body, how someone dresses, how a person's skin looks, like a dermatologist, neurologists, or even a hairstylist slash barber. Those hair transplant people in Turkey, for example. Remember, the first house has to do with the head, hairline, and even the brain. It all depends upon the planets you have in the first house. Furthermore, the 10th house represents your bosses and superiors at work. Now, you become that boss, supervisor, manager, president, or CEO. Whether you work for someone a company, or yourself. Eventually, it will happen. In fact, displacement increases the chances of you working for yourself in this lifetime drastically. It's almost like a guarantee in a way. So, freelancers, entrepreneurs, self employed people, founders slash owners of a business may have the 10th Lord in the first house. This happens for various reasons. One reason could be that the 10th house represents bosses at work. So you become your own boss. On the flip side, it may just mean your superiors at work always stay nearby you. Even then, in this case, that could be your co founder instead of your actual boss being around you. The second reason is simple. You become your work environment, meaning your work has to be created through you, which again is like an entrepreneurship thing. Then, if work goes wherever you are, this is someone whose work schedule is 24 hours. Without your actions and movement, work doesn't happen. Managers could have displacement as well. I mean, those personal or assistant managers, like what Kris is to Kim Kardashian. Who you are as a person is what gets you work as well. This is kind of a fame placement because public recognition for your career is coming to you. Meaning, in your lifetime, you will be more so recognized for the work that you do. How you dress resembles the status or position you have in your career. For example, people with displacement can often be seen wearing badges. You know, those badges you see on their shirt, or how people walk around with their work identification card around their neck or shirt. Business owners, for example, wear shirts that have the name of their company or brand. Ultimately, you don't hide the work that you do with your appearance. You could be a construction worker and people would still visibly recognize your career. Oh, he's a carpenter. Oh, she's a doctor. Look at her white coat. Unless you have something like Saturn in the first house, which can make you fearful of being seen. But even then, I don't think Saturn will stop this. You use your career as your identity and make it a part of who you are as a person. For example, there are law enforcers or athletes that try to build a reputation through their profession. You might be like, oh, I act that way because I used to be in the military for 10 years. I'm a Vietnam War veteran. I used to work there before, etc. Well, I'm not a Vietnam War veteran. I just want to make that clear. We all know those types of people who are nobodies, so they use their uniforms or professions to create an identity for themselves. A person that shows up in a room, so they introduce themselves as being a teacher. Next thing you know, the entire conversation becomes about them teaching and what they do for work. Anyways, follow me on the other apps. There will be more videos to come.